So it's my last day here in Maryland and my second to last day here in the United States, unfortunately. We're off to Annapolis, Maryland's capital. But first, we're stopping for breakfast here at a nationwide chain, Bob Evans, because apparently they do pretty good biscuits and gravy, which is something I still haven't tried, and I've been told is a must try. So let's check it out, see what I think, fuel me up for the drive to Annapolis. What's cool about this place is they have their own little farm section where they do like pumpkin bread, banana bread. Apparently this place starts as an actual farm in Rio Grande, Ohio, and now it's just like a nationwide chain of breakfast places, and they have their own little bakeries for carry out. Microwave corn. You just put these in the microwave and it all pops off the cob. You've got banana nut bread, pumpkin bread. You got a bunch of sweets, you got some dressings, you got some candles, is that? These are lemon pound cake candle, China biscuit candle, kitchen stuff. They even sell, of course, little teddy bear animals for the kids. And then all this merchandise. It's very common here for chain restaurants and even small local restaurants to sell their own merchandise. Of course, consumerism is huge here in America. It carries over even into the restaurant space. And they sell these little dogs, biscuit and gravy. That looks more like a root vegetable than a dog. Poor Biscuit. Biscuit the turnip dog hybrid. And this is the original farm in Rio Grande, Ohio. Bob Evans Farm. I thought they would have fixed the panel over here before they took the picture to use in restaurants nationwide, eh? Oh well, I suppose it lends to the authenticity. It is just a working farm after all. Everybody is somebody at Bob Evans. That's just the life affirmation that I needed. I was feeling a little down in myself, walked into Bob Evans and he told me that everybody is somebody here. Anyway, we've got some pretty sizable menus on the table. I'm pretty much set on what I'm having, but there is a lot to choose from, like a million different breakfast options. Obviously you've got all the traditional American fare, you've got the pancakes and eggs and sausage patties, you've got bacon and pancakes, you've got bacon and biscuits. Alright, I'm set on this, the farmhand biscuit sandwich platter. 2 biscuits, one with sausage, one with bacon, fried egg and American cheese on both, and then their house-made sausage gravy for dipping on the side. That is an aggressively American breakfast. So here we have it. This famous sausage gravy, biscuits, topped with eggs and American cheese, with bacon on one, and then with a sausage patty on the other. So it's essentially like a breakfast burger. We've got the home fries on the side of it. I'm just going to get stuck right in. I'm going to start with the bacon one, hanging out. Anyway, I'll take a bite of the egg first. Make it a bit more manageable.
I know she's a thing.
And I'm going to dunk it in that gravy, just as God intended. Look at that. That's a good dunk. Let's give that a go. It's thick, it's almost like a stew. You could just eat that like as a bowl with a spoon and it would be, if it was the right size, it would be a competent meal on its own. Just a really delicious, thick, meaty soup almost. And dunking it with these soft, warm biscuits full of bacon and egg goodness really goes down a treat. $12, 1,200 calories, sets you up for the day for sure. Home-style fries. A little cold by the time we got to the table, but not the worst. Let's give it a go with it. The biscuit with the sausage. So double sausage.
Good.
There's There's no real easy way to eat that, but it's delicious. Pizza and gravy. Another American food item that I approve of. Very good breakfast. I will say though, I wish I went for the double bacon rather than the bacon and the sausage, because the one with the sausage patty, loading that up with sausage gravy, you run the risk of falling into a sausage-induced coma. It was a little bit much, but the bacon one was just perfect. And the home-style fries, I believe they used fresh potatoes. They tasted fresh. They were a really nice side, despite not being as warm as they could have been upon arrival. Nothing that a bit of the sausage gravy couldn't fix. After a hearty family-style American breakfast, we set sights on Maryland's state capital, the uniquely beautiful Annapolis, which stands out among other US cities for its small size and quaint appearance, thanks to the historic centre full of Georgian architecture, 18th century brick houses, and that impressive domed state house, the oldest still in legislative use in the United States. I was immediately taken aback by just how well preserved this once colonial town is. All the stately homes built by those who thrived from the prosperity of the town's shipping industry in the early days were still there in all their grandeur, which, despite not being that old in the grand scheme of things and in terms of human history, on the scale of America's considerably short timeline of existence, is practically ancient. The United States Naval Academy also calls Annapolis home. It's known by some Maryland locals as Naptown, and driving through you do get the impression that it's a sleepy old place. However, that served as a welcome antidote to the manic bustle of New York City, where I spent the previous week. So we're here in Annapolis. Started at a gift store right across the road from a parking spot. Well, look what the gift store sells. How politicised everything is in this country right now. It's like team sports rather than actual political discourse. People are just wearing it as if they're wearing the favourite sports team. No other country really does that. Bit of Trump hoodies, aren't you think? For almost every dog breed you can think of in socks. Crab magnets. I suppose that is on brand for Maryland, if you want a little tourist souvenir. Maryland bucket list: 1 beer, 2 ice, 3 crabs. You got a recipe for crab cakes. That's actually pretty cool. How do I look? Would wearing these not constitute a stolen valor here in the United States? I mean, I guess some of these emblems obviously not. And I suppose you'd only wear them if they actually apply. Maybe that's a silly question. Then over here we've got all our Old Bay stuff. Now in the UK you can get the Old Bay, you can get the regular Old Bay seasoning, but here they have the hot sauce. They have a big Bloody Mary mix. No chance of getting that on the plane. Sadly, this is 147ml and you're only allowed 100ml bottles. Otherwise, I would have been good to take this home on the plane. A cake mix as well, and then a couple of, I suppose, more local, more artisanal brands. Salmon seasoning, crab seasoning, and then we have a bit more of a fancy crab cake mix than the Old Bay one here. This one costs $7, so I'm presuming these are like fancier ingredients. Probably quite good. I'm going to try my hand at making them at home, but I'm going to use my own mix, my own seasoning, and with a bit of mayo and hot sauce. The crab soup, like what I had on my first night in Lusby, although probably not as good in a can. And it's $10. $10? That's the same price I paid at a restaurant. What on God's green earth is this? Mooney Trump drops his trousers everywhere, says I don't give a damn, then he says kiss my ass tattooed on his ass. I dare you to push the pump. Great fun for the office car or home. Strangest thing I've seen here yet. You seen this?
This is $13, right?
Very odd.
More reasonable right there.
So I guess this shop doesn't have its allegiances. Anything's fair game. You can buy a Trump for President hoodie, or you can buy this to clean your toilets with it. So we're in Harbour Square here in Annapolis, and this very small harbour and the town itself has existed since colonial times, and back then it was apparently known as the Athens of America, for people from all over the world gathered via the port to visit this place. Apparently it had a great social scene, an intellectual scene, a lot of arts, and Excellent crab and seafood. There's a lot of seafood restaurants still dotted around here. There's an oyster bar over there, a fancy looking seafood restaurant right in the centre of the harbour. And as we were driving through, you'll notice just by the state capitol, it's very quaint. There aren't any tall buildings towering over us. It's just like very street level. Almost feels like being in the UK. A seaside town in Scotland or something. Very quaint, very nice. And this is only about a 1 hour's drive from Lusby, where I was staying. You can actually drive from top to bottom of Maryland, 4 hours. Compare that to a state like Texas, 4 hour drive, you could still be in the same county. So it is one of the smallest states here in America. Not the smallest. I believe Delaware is the smallest, which is bordering Maryland. Check out this house, which has admittedly seen better days. It is currently being supported entirely by wooden pallets. That is unbelievable. Look, there are no foundations. The foundations have been, I don't know if they've been gutted out or if they're yet to be built, but look at that, wooden pallets. But it's been an abnormally warm winter here in East Coast USA, which is fortunate for me. Not a big fan of the cold. But look out into the bay. And then just behind us, the main city. Over in the distance there, you can just make out the state capital. That's the Maryland state capital.
Success out here.
Over in the distance, you can just about make out the Bay Bridge, which connects Maryland with Delaware onwards. How's that for a mural? Annapolis, Maryland, established 1649. And look at this. Dog's name's Andy, like me, and this is the Chesapeake Retrievers. The Chesapeake Bay Retriever, which is the official Maryland dog. And they've named him after me. How sweet. We're gonna go check out the Naval Academy now. Not sure if it's cool around filming while in here because it is military property. Usually they look funny about that, but I guess since you can access by the public, it's a tourist spot as well. Commodore John Barry, Commission Number 1, United States Navy. On February the 22nd, 1797, at the Presidential Mansion in Philadelphia, President George Washington formally presented Irish-born John Barry with Commissioner Number 1 in the newly formed United States Navy. Officers in their very swanky uniforms. You can see them in the background, just coming through the gate there, looking very smart. Unfortunately, we didn't enter the Naval Academy, as you need ID, and none of us brought it out with us. And here in the Naval Academy yard, we have a map of Annapolis. And then these are a row of houses. Beautiful old wooden and some brick houses. And the flag with the yellow and black checkered pattern on it is actually the Maryland state flag. You probably won't find many states that fly their own flag quite as prominently as you see in Maryland. In fact, you may even see it more often than you see the United States flag, which in most states is the only flag you will see outside of people's houses and places of business. But yeah, here you will very, very commonly see them proudly flying their own flag. And yeah, Greg even has it tattooed on his arm. People have a really proud Maryland identity here, a very local, unique identity, you know. Their cultural customs, their food, the cuisine, their lifestyle, and of course their sports. They've got the Baltimore Orioles, the Ravens. I mean, that's the same all over America, I suppose. And that's definitely the same all over America. Huge Chevys like this, the size of a small flat. But yeah, beautiful. Really nice taking a walk around here. Really get a sense of the history. And then across the road, there are businesses. You've got a nail bar, you've got a little cafe. Then as we get onto the main square, you'll find more bars, seafood restaurants. I'm quite impressed by Annapolis. It's a lovely, quaint little town to walk around. Definitely not to be missed while you're in Maryland. This might be one of my favourite places that I've visited. And here is a restaurant called Latitude 38, waterfront dining. Apparently over there we can get a good view of the docks while we're seated. So we're going to head inside. Just beyond the carport we have a little view of the waterfront. View of the church spire over in the distance. Clouds are looking a little gloomy, but I don't feel like it's going to rain anytime soon. So because we've eaten recently, we've just come up here for drinks, but we're also going to try a cake. And two of these things are Maryland specials. So we're going for the Orange Crush, which is a local cocktail. What's in that? What's in the Orange Crush?
We have Smirnoff orange vodka, triple sec, fresh orange juice, and a splash of Sprite. And that's how I would make it too.
Nice.
Vodka, OJ, Sprite.
Right, and that's a Maryland special cocktail, like you don't really get it anywhere else. But then we're also going to try a piece of Smith Island cake. Smith Island is a really small island just off Maryland. Come like the state's signature cake. It's the signature dessert, so I'm really looking forward to trying both those things.
Maybe you should have worn a shirt.
So here we go, trying the Orange Crush. It's orange flavoured vodka with orange juice and
It's good.
soda, right? It's good. She doesn't know. She doesn't know.
I've tried it.
That's nice.
Tried what?
It's light.
And you can tell they put plenty of vodka in it as well. Strong drink, but it's like really sweet and palatable. Like a very accessible one.
We do have a soda.
And it's freshly squeezed orange juice as well, so it is essentially very much like a vodka and orange juice, but with the soda in it as well to make it a fizzy drink. So they actually have the carrot cake variant, which is not the original, but it's similar in terms of it's layered with icing in between. So I guess we're getting the carrot cake variation on it.
You got it, Louie?
It's so. This carrot cake's really
That's
good.
great.
You like it, Dally?
Those layers of icing are so creamy and
Oh no.
the cake is moist and soft just as it should be. I've always loved a carrot cake. And this in all the layers, Smith Island style. Oh, it's good.
Okay.
Comes with a little bit of caramel on the plate as a garnish and to dip the cake in. That is a really nice layer cake.
Can I have a French fry?
We're way bigger than the other.
But that's fine.
Yeah.
Good, right? With the caramel.
What drinks? Yeah, it is.
Well, I've tried Smith Island carrot cake, maybe not the traditional original recipe. Tried an Orange Crush. And we've had a little drive around Annapolis and a little wander around the streets to see what's quite a unique location for Maryland. And of course its capital. Now, well, I think we've overstayed our parking permit, so we're off out of here. On leaving Annapolis, we drove by the absolutely gorgeous grounds of St. John's College, a historied educational institution that was founded as King William's School in 1697 and is now lauded as one of the USA's top liberal arts colleges with a famous affinity and aptitude for the game of croquet. Notable alumni include R&B Hall of Fame inductee and Atlantic Records founder Ahmet Erdogan, as well as Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee and Elektra Records founder Jack Holtzman. Then, for the first time during my trip, snowfall came and it hit hard. Fortunately, the roads remained pretty clear and the drive home felt safe and hassle-free with minimal traffic. By the time we arrived back to Lusby in southern Maryland, the snow had practically subsided. For a second though, I was genuinely worried that I might have been stranded, as my flight from JFK in New York was the following night. So as you saw on the drive here, the snow just came out of nowhere, completely took over. I mean, it was settling really fast over there. Immediately, like 10 minutes later, there were fire engines and ambulances tearing down the road, so obviously a few accidents were happening. But here in southern Maryland, it's not too bad. Like here, the snow's settled on the grass and everything, but the roads are clear because it was raining earlier. But we're just going down to lock up the chickens. As you will have seen on the last video, Greg has chickens here.
Hi, babies.
Look at it in here, taking shelter from the elements.
Cuddled up.
You've made the right decision, guys. It's not too good out here.
She's like, close that shit. What are you doing? Bye, girlies.
So we've got it pretty lucky down here in southern Maryland, here in Lusby. It's apparently 2 degrees Celsius. Doesn't feel that cold, to be honest, because there's no wind or anything. It's just still weather. The snow's subsided, so we should be good. I was a little bit worried that the conditions might worsen to the point where my flight is cancelled or my bus to New York is cancelled, but it doesn't seem to be going that way, so false alarm. The following morning, Greg kindly drove me into Washington DC, where I'd catch another Peter Pan bus back to Manhattan, where I would then get to spend one final afternoon before heading to the airport and flying back home to the UK. I was sad to say goodbye to Greg, Alex and the kids, all of whom were great company and gracious hosts for the days I spent in their home state of Maryland. Not in Lusby anymore. Leaving New York in a few hours. First, got to say bye to my friends at the Broadway Dive and get another couple of beers before I leave.